Is Trendy John from Trendy Trading. Good afternoon. It is 1:14. It is the 8th of January, 2023. We're coming off an amazing week. Um, Let me go ahead and tell you. So I basically recorded this entire thing already, and then come to find out I had too many videos that I have not went through that I needed to delete. So it had stopped somewhere in the middle of the video. So this is the second time that I'm doing it for you guys. So I just decided to stream it, and I'll send you the link out. I'm not sure if the unlisted link is sent to the room. Let's go ahead and take a quick look there while we're doing this, and let's see if we can look into member chat, and then I'll let you know if you're able to see it immediately. And so far it doesn't look like, let's see, futures chat, there we are. Member chat doesn't look like it's letting you guys know that I'm doing this right now. Not a big deal. So again, I'll just send out the link. But again, welcome back. We had an amazing week. Some of you guys had a super amazing week, and I love to see that. We're going to go really quickly through the broad market analysis. Like I said, I've already went over it. So in a sense, I've already studied it, and it should be quick, easy, and to the point. If you have any questions after I go through this, please let me know. Let's go ahead and get started with earning whispers. Now, I did not put this in the room, but I want to highlight Friday, because really, to me, this is the most important part of this week coming up. And these are your financials. So you have Bank of America, United Health. I'm definitely interested in this. JP Morgan, Delta, sure. We'll see what airlines wants to do. Citi, Wells Fargo, and everything else across the board. I'm not too interested in these names. Maybe KB Homes, that'll kind of give me some insight, but Friday being the biggest day. All right. Now, far as this week's broad market analysis, we're going to start off with Market Watch. So that's going to pop up here. And again, I highlighted what I feel is important. You may see something else on here that you think is important. This is where I'd expect maybe a little bit of volatility to come into the market. So it's just important. These are Eastern times. I'm on Central time here in Florida where I live. And Eastern time, 12:30, you got one of the Feds speaking up. That's Bostic. And that is tomorrow. And then on Tuesday, you have Jerome Powell. He's speaking from Sweden. And then you have whole inventories coming out as well. If you notice on Wednesday, it's a pretty quiet day. And then leading into Thursday, I do believe it's pretty busy with President Patrick Harker, President James Bullard, core CPI, jobless claims. Thursday is really the 4th of July coming into this week. Friday, we have import price index, and you can see the rest here. So Wednesday and Friday, I feel like could be, pretty sideways days. We'll see. We'll see what the trend wants to do. The next thing I want to show you is SPY and QQQ from last week. These are the results. We all know we look to go long above 383, short below this level. You could see that both on the SPY and the QQQ, we pretty much just stayed within range the entire week. Just to reiterate, we want to be looking to go long at the bottom of the channel. And we want to be careful towards the top of the channel because, there's no reason for us not to be, because this is what has shown us for a very long time now, that it's better to get, long lower on the curve versus high on the curve. So we ended Friday up towards the high end of the channel. So I'd be really interested to see what happens. I'm not aware of any sort of catalyst that happened over the week that are, that we should be concerned about. So we could see a little bit of a gap up on exuberance from Friday's close. But again, we don't need to tell the future. We just need to know how to react to the levels and the price action. So notice that the levels here on SPY worked very well. We gapped up on this day, and if you were in the room, then we were coaching on the ES futures, and I simply said we were coming into resistance. So this move down was not a surprise, if you will. And then once we broke the neutral, you could have went short into T1 and T2. This served as support for the rest of the week. Friday, we came into that level very nicely, pushed up. We had an amazing day. 650%, I believe, is what Melissa was able to take from the market on the SPY trade. As a matter of fact, it came right down into the line in the sand, right into this level. This is where the long was initiated and actually added to, and you saw the result there again, 650%. So awesome trading. Over here on the Qs, same thing. We gapped up, we came into resistance, it pulled back into support, and then Friday we hit T3 to the downside, and then we hit target one to the upside. Both of these being amazing blueprints for the week. Now, going into this week, we have a new SPY neutral on this chart. Just take a quick screenshot. You can copy these targets here. Again, same thing. The only notes that I want to talk about are right in the space here. It's a bit wide for my liking, so don't be greedy. What that means is if for some reason we gap up, I feel like it's a little extended from the EMA cloud, so we don't necessarily have to touch this 392.46. Matter of fact, if I happen to be long in the morning or take a trade over the green, I'm actually looking at trading before, or sorry, trimming before I get here, and this could be like my last target for the intraday, if that makes sense. And if it doesn't, please reach out. And then my next target is 394, 398 for the week. To the downside, I would expect 384 through 381 to support unless we have some sort of catalyst. This channel, we've been in there for quite some time, since the beginning of, or the first or second week of December, and we finally pushed out of it. And one thing that I was trying to take a look at just to be sure is did we come back to test this channel? And we did. This 4-hour candle right here came back and tested that channel on Friday. And so that's a good look. If for some reason we cannot break above, though, we could get stuck right back in the channel, and I call that purgatory because it's been absolutely sideways in here. Okay. Again, these are our targets to the upside. We expect them to be resistance until proven otherwise, and targets to the downside, we expect them to be resistance, or sorry, support until proven otherwise. Next one is going to be SPY bigger picture. We're going to start out here with a quarterly. My notes here, just over the cloud and back in the bullish channel of last quarter's channel. What that means is I simply measured last quarter with Fibonacci. And we know that the 38.2 and the 23.6 are the bullish channel of last quarter's candle. And we have indeed got over that. I love the fact that there is confluence here with the 38.2 and the cloud. So really at the end of the day, this will probably be like a line in the sand going into tomorrow, that 386.68 level. So we want to be paying attention to that. So please jot that down. As far as anything else is concerned, there's not a whole lot to talk about, but as long as we're holding above that cloud, it's a good look for the bulls. But keep in mind, this is a quarterly candle, and we still have 2 months and 24 days before that candle actually closes. The next one we're going to look at is going to be the monthly candle. I have some notes here. This is a completely different look. This one says a little bit more caution as we come into this week. And the reason I say that is because measuring last month's candle, we are actually in the bearish channel, and we closed right at the bearish level, and that's around 388.41. We are in the cloud, so I expect a little bit of choppiness, but you know, it's a good look that we're inside this major candle from last month. But once again, this is a monthly candle, and you know, it's going to take a while to close until the end of the month. The next candle that I'm going to show you is going to be the annual. And if you remember, this was a line in the sand for the year, is just taking last year's close. If we start to, for some reason, I would say on a weekly and a monthly basis, start to close under here, then that probability of us coming down into the 9 EMA is a higher probability. For now, it's holding. That's a good look for bulls. So congratulations on that. Next one, I want to be looking at the QQQ neutral. Just like the SPY, the white lines to the upside are resistance until proven otherwise. The ones to the downside are support until proven otherwise. When we look at this, you can see that we are in a channel. The better place to get long is towards the bottom end of the channel, and we want to take caution as we come into the upper end of the channel. So we're not quite out of this. Bulls, you really got to make a statement, and in my opinion, you have to get over 271. Build a base there for at least 2 to 3 days. Then I start to feel a little bit better. But you do have supply up above. So although we had a nice end to the week, we're still underneath lots of supply. We're going into earnings. The Qs have been lagging the rest of the market, and so I definitely have my eyes on this particular ETF because it says a lot about some of the bigger names, and those bigger names start reporting towards the end of January. All right, so. Anyways, that's what I'm seeing. My overall sentiment when combining SPY and QQQ is, can we hold above that channel? Or was Friday just something to get you excited and then we come back into the channel? We have Feds talking, maybe it gets choppy again. But again, price action is king and we'll have those levels to help you out. The next charts that I want to show you are QQQ bigger picture. This is the quarterly. Couple notes here. We're inside the cloud, unlike the SPY. The SPY is just above the cloud. We're higher lows, which is a good thing. So far we're creating a higher low. We have that rounding bottom look, but once again, 2 months and 24 days, who knows what this candle is going to do? But from my experience, the topping wick says the bears are in control. Just be careful, but it is showing us a rounding bottom. Rounding bottoms, they like to kind of continue up like this. And then we'll be looking for it to push into that zone up above. But once again, long time period before that candle closes. The next one I want to show you is going to be the monthly. Again, whole different look. This looks like an H pattern. So price comes into demand. It pushes up into the EMA cloud. It rolls over and creates that H look. On an H look, you have to take out that low. And then it turns into a hope pattern because all the bulls are hoping that price doesn't continue down, but it usually ends up pushing down into lower zones. Far as right now, that 618 is support for right now, and your resistance is up here at the cloud. Okay, so that resistance is around 281. Far as the yearly is concerned, once again, it's just a really quick look at it. I'm not going to go over the yearly every week because it's a big picture, very big picture, and we'll just kind of update here and there when I feel like it's needed. But right now, again, it's inside the last year's candle. It has not broken down or closed below on a weekly. Until it does that, we have to look at this being potential support here. Notice that the EMA itself is still pointing up, but could be flattening out a little bit, just kind of giving us an indication that we're choppy to up for the moment. And that's what I'm looking for, or that's what I see on the yearly. The next thing is going to be the dollar. We've absolutely crushed the idea of all of this in conjunction with the broad market, meaning, we called it, to watch out once we went inside and up and above the cloud. And then we called it here with the topping wicks to say, hey, the dollar was going to drop. It did drop. I called this inside and up formation. I said to look for that. We indeed came into that formation. We bounced, but we couldn't get over the bearish channel right here. And because we can't get over the bearish channel and because the zone is holding, I expect choppiness in the dollar. Let's go ahead and move on into the TNX or the Treasury. This is, again, exactly what I was expecting for price to head down into the 9 EMA. Again, I think this is sideways too, unless for some reason we start to make a new pivot high. And I would say over this topping wick, I'm not concerned unless we get over 3.99. Matter of fact, I still think we come into these levels here. Okay, so looking for potentially 3.217 and potentially back to 2.82. Okay, so notice that everybody was up in arms about the Treasury, up in arms about the dollar, and a lot of bad news started to come in towards those topping wicks and that inside and down formation that I showed you on both of these charts are very important. And so I hope you can see that we were able to identify through structure that this was indeed a top. And again, most people were freaking out around this area, but we were looking for these things to drop. Okay, and so good structure, awesome. We got to stick to price action and structure, not news and what everybody's trying to tell you. Next thing I want to be looking at is the skew. The skew itself is coming in at 113 this week, and it's telling me risk on. And in really looking at the rest of the charts that I've shown you, it's really a matter of, can it stay above the channel? If we could stay above the channel and the skew is down here at 113, we know that this red level here over this isn't a good picture, but I've shown you many, many times before. If you were to look at the origin of the skew, so years ago, you would see that this red line holds over and over, and I can show you that here in a second. So again, this is what we're looking for. We're looking for the market basically to be fearful and scared when the skew comes into these levels, and then we typically will see an extreme bounce to the upside. Last time we came into here, we saw 200 points to the upside in the ES and the SPY. And this past week, we saw the SPY and the ES pushed up about 84 points on Friday. Actually, a total of 100. And so we saw the SPY push up about $10, and then it came in a little bit. So far, this level is working perfectly. And so with the market and where it's at, my overall sentiment is sideways to up until yeah, sideways to up until we break some major levels, and we'll go over those here in a second. Okay, the next one is going to be your fear and greed. Fear and greed index ticked up a little bit. It went from neutral. Or sorry, from fearful into neutral, which makes sense with the market bounce in the way that it did. People are starting to feel a little bit better. And when I say people, I just mean participants in the market. Things were looking a little bit better. But again, really like to see some follow through. As far as 2022 is concerned, follow through wasn't something we were used to. And typically, if they give us 80, 100 points, or even when they gave us that 200 points, we came right back down. We took all that stuff back. So that'll be a big question going into this week, whether or not we can follow through. Next thing that I want to be showing you is going into the future trades. Very important. I'm just going to quickly show you guys and what to expect here. I think these are important. This is the bigger picture. And as far as this week is concerned, like I said, I changed the levels on the weekly and the daily. But as far as the 4 hour, we did not change it. Same look here, rounding bottom, higher lows. We came into that next EMA. We are in the cloud. I expect choppiness to resistance right here. Bulls, you need over 39.37. Your support for this rally for this week is at 38.72. Bears, I really don't think you have a chance unless we start to see numbers below 37.82. And to be quite honest with you, 37.75 in that area, we got a lot of demand. So it could just be a quick bounce. So if I were one to go short, I would much rather use the neutral strategy on the SPY or my 5-minute charts. And you guys know we trade those all the time as far as intraday is looked at. And then we could get a big move. But for right now, the trendy edges are your support. See that purple line right there and this level here. So even if we were to pull back to here, I'd actually expect a bounce. All right. So again, bears, you have a lot to prove. You had a long time to prove and you did a really good job. But the next question is, do we actually break down below any of this going into earnings? I don't personally, I wouldn't see that happening. So earnings is like one of those times where we might chop around and kill some premium and wait for the bigger names to let us know. And Friday is that day that I believe that the market's going to tell us something, okay, with banks reporting. All right, pretty straightforward. All right, so in the next chart, let's look at the daily. Please go back and look at last week's. It worked so well. Matter of fact, I think we called the bottom with the trigger longs. We moved them this week, obviously. We now have 3,900 by 38.74. This is a trigger long, but only if the lower time frame supports. So what I mean by that is if price comes down into this zone, I go over to a 5-minute chart, not the daily. I'm using the daily triggers or the numbers to get long, but the 5-minute, I'm using the TTM squeeze, making sure that we have buyers coming in. I'm looking at trendy edges and so forth. But for right now, this is my blueprint. Resistance 39.38 and a short trigger only if the lower time frame supports it is around 39.85 for this week. Next one's going to be your 4-hour. And you can see it here on the ES futures. I left this alone. I didn't touch anything. I wanted you to see that our levels worked very well. We came into supply. You can see every time we've come into supply, we've backed off a little bit. What you need to see is that we can actually hold the 39.07, and if you can hold 39.07, then we can head up here towards 39.44, and then up here towards this trendy edge, and then we'll be what's considered in an AC/DC setup, accelerator decelerator equals ME, and we'll talk about that if we get there, okay? Which really does make sense going into earnings this week. Next one we're going to look at is going to be NASDAQ. This is going to be your weekly look. I don't believe nope, I did not change anything here. Resistance is still up around 11 triple fours and around 11 to 71, which is 618. The trendy edge is resistance so far. The trendy edge right here is support. So really, if you were to think about it, you're in a neutral zone right now. This too was an H formation. Not a whole lot to do here. Again, NASDAQ, this is what it looks like. Coming into our next one, we have the daily. And so your daily, again, I left, let's see, no, I changed this one. Sorry, I changed, yeah, I definitely changed this one. And so your trigger longs are 11,023 by 10,921. Again, only a small time frame triggers. You got your short trigger up here. You got your resistance right here with the trendy edges. And really, this resistance, we could use, see that blue line, that's your other trendy edge. But we have support. Look at that beautiful support at the trendy edge. So again, just kind of locked in here. And you can see we're simply in a channel. All right, so that's your NASDAQ. And then on the 4 hour, again, didn't touch this. It's working out really well. The zone across this way, if you would, you can see after a reclaim, it's worked out well. Again, still in that channel. And we have supply above around 11,293 by 11,388. I do believe we can create value above these levels, then this is our next target right in here. All right. So if you have any questions on these, please let me know. Remember, future traders will be open tonight at 5 o'clock Central Time, 6 o'clock Eastern. I'll be using what's called the PMZ or the pre-market zone. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Can't wait to see you guys tonight. And sorry it took so long. Typically this would have been out, but like I said, had a couple technical errors on my part this morning, but all is well, and can't wait to trade with you this week. Melissa and I will be on the mic 30 minutes before the market opens, just like every morning, ready to trade with you. See you soon.